we're so conditioned to have it be something sweet, some bread, toaster strudels, all of the things that commercials have got us thinking is breakfast. What if we just had it be the first meal of the day? Can it be eggs and sausage or bacon? Sure. But could it be a leftover chicken breast and some broccoli with butter? It's just another opportunity to eat. So switching our taste buds, it does take a while. It's not like all of a sudden, oh, this chicken breast for breakfast sounds really good. Doesn't happen that way. But if you start to shift your mindset and be okay with, okay, I'm just going to eat this for my first meal, then it's like, oh, okay. And then for my second meal or lunch, whatever you want to call it, maybe you're going to have a leftover burger.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fixed Blood Sugar webinar. We are so excited that you guys are here. All of you YouTube viewers, thank you for joining us. We have had thousands and thousands of people watching these webinars on YouTube, and we just want to thank you for that. This is a huge resource available to you guys because these are free discussions about type 2, where we bring in some guests. We have Dr. Saunders, the founder of Barton Publishing, Joe Barton, who hops on, and we talk about all things health, mostly focusing on type 2, but I think we are at 185 episodes today. And so what an amazing resource to learn. I just think about, things in my life that have come up when I was younger, and different health things, and how valuable YouTube would have been when I was trying to figure some things out, instead of waiting for your appointment in 3 months or whatever. And so just super thankful for this. And I know that so many of you guys are as well. But today we are going to do something a little different, and we have a special guest here, and I'm really excited about this. My friend Dana is here. Some of you may remember Dana. She did she did a series of webinars with us, a year and a half ago, maybe?
Probably.
Somewhere in there. And so she has a really cool story about what she's doing, and we're going to dig into some of that. Before we get started, just want to make sure everything is working well here. Yes. Okay. So feel free to ask questions in the chat, you guys, or excuse me, don't use the chat for questions. Use Q&A if you're on Zoom, Facebook, YouTube. You can type in the comments. We'll do our best to answer those if we can. If not, hop on the webinar, bartonwebinar.com. You can watch it live if you register there. So the other quick announcement that I'm going to mention is we have our Healthy Heart webinar that will also be starting. So we have two webinars each week. We have this one, the Fixed Blood Sugar webinar, but then we're also going to have the Healthy Heart webinar. And so you're going to see me twice a week, guys, which I know you're excited about, right? Luckily, I'm not the one teaching you anything, but Dr. Saunders will be here for those. But register for those at bartonwebinar.com. I can see the Ungers are on here. I hope I'm saying that right, but I got the most amazing email from them. And it'd be fun to have you guys on here just to share your story and your journey. And the fun part, I think, about being a hostess, I guess, for this webinar is that we get to hear all these amazing stories about people who are just taking control of their life and reversing their type 2. And it's just so encouraging and so powerful. And we love this space here. And our friend Dana, actually, she lives like 15 minutes from me, if you can believe it. So I'm in South Dakota, so is she. I am just excited to hear from her today. Dana, well, before we get started, guys, quick disclaimer. We are not medical doctors. Please consult with your medical doctor before you try anything that we do say or think of, I guess. And everybody's body is a little bit different. And so that's why we tell you to do that. Okay. Dana, let's go ahead and get started by having you just tell us who you are and how did you end up in this space?
Awesome. Thank you, Leslie. And hello to everybody. Some familiar names maybe that I'm seeing in the chat. So I'm glad to be here today. So thanks for the opportunity. I am definitely a former sugar lover. My mom couldn't figure out why I was being so quiet at a football game at age 2. It's because my best friend gave me M&Ms. So I get it. I've been there. I used to love all things sugar until late into my nursing career, I discovered what sugar was doing. So I love teaching what I learned. And I've learned to now heal my body and enjoy food without all of the sugar. I was the one bringing the 10-pound pan of Reese's peanut butter bars to the party. But now I know how to make similar Reese's peanut butter bars without all the sugar. So that's kind of how I landed in the land of less sugar. I transitioned out of clinic nursing in 2020, right as the pandemic started. And I have my own health and wellness coaching business now. And my main passion is to connect to my clients and help educate, empower, and evolve into a lifestyle that's going to be yours. So there isn't any one diet necessarily that works for everybody. There's a foundation to get started, like your diabetes plan here. But then how do we transition you into it, make it a lifestyle that's going to work for you? So that's where I'm at. And I always like to tell people you're sweet enough without all the sugar.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. One thing that Dr. Saunders always talks about on these webinars, like Dana said, is that our diabetes solution kit is not the only way. And we've been talking a lot about that. And so the things that Dana will share today, again, you're going to want to kind of tailor that for you. When we talk about phase 1 of the diabetes solution kit, that really is a very low carb diet where you're getting rid of sugar. Some things that she may share may work for that, or they may work for phase 3 when you're at phase 3. You just got to kind of decide where you're at. And if you're brand new, then this will be a really good place to start too. So, tell us a little bit about what you do. What do you do during the day? Are you meeting with people? And how does your program work? How would people find you if they decide they want more information about what you're doing?
Sure. So my days are, I have one-on-one clients. So we meet just like this. We do a Zoom call once per month, but my clients kind of have a coach in their pocket. So anytime they have a question, we have an app that we go through. It's my own app, and we communicate back and forth as they need to that way. And then we do kind of a weekly check-in is how my process looks over 6 months as we work on your lifestyle program. And my day is filled too with making the content, I guess, for Instagram or Facebook. That's where you can find me, dana.cushing.health on Instagram or Facebook. My Healthy Body is a great group to join. It's a supportive group just to offer a place to connect with other people that are on a health journey as well. So I love sharing recipes that are lower sugar, making sure you're getting enough protein, and working with your carbohydrate tolerance, because everybody's kind of in a different spot. Like Leslie said, are you in phase 1, or are you kind of working your way towards that third part of their program? So that is what I do on a daily basis, other than taking care of my 2 crazy dogs. And I love to go for walks and lift weights a couple days a week.
Awesome.
So
you do have you have a fitness background too, don't you?
Yes. So I do have a personal training background. And I feel like as soon as you have the food, your nutrition kind of dialed in, like what can you do daily with your food that's moving you closer? Then I kind of like to start to stack. How can I help you create more muscle? Because the more muscle we have, the bigger suitcase or sink, we will say, that we have to store the sugar that we might eat. So even though you can't have even just the smallest of sweet potato right now because your blood sugar might be too high, as you start walking and maybe just using resistance bands or a soup can or just something to squeeze your muscles and make them bigger, you're going to start to be able to tolerate maybe a little more sweet potato or that little piece of chocolate or a piece of cake later as you move along. And I do see a question from Kathy here about the Libre, the 14-day Libre. And I really love that because it helps guide me as a coach to say, oh, yes, you are ready. Your blood sugars tell me that they're ready. We can do it without the 14-day Libre, but it is such a cool behavior change tool. And actually, I just got done wearing mine for a month. So I think it's a really great thing to have, Kathy, if your physician will provide one and your insurance covers it. The benefit is getting much better for the insurance coverage. So
yeah, we do get a lot of people are now starting to get those continuous glucose monitors, and just so awesome to be able to see what food is doing immediately.
Yes. And I have found that sweet potatoes, if everything else is cooking for supper and I jump in and have a few sweet potato fries that I have prepared. So my own not store-bought sweet potatoes, but mine, a little avocado oil spray, my blood sugar goes high. And I don't have diabetes. I don't have insulin resistance. So it's good for me to know, because to maintain health, we want to prevent those super steep blood sugar rise and fall. That's where that inflammation happens, is in that when we have this peak like this, we've got a lot of inflammation going on here. We want it to just be like a small little hill of a blood sugar rise. Yes. So it's helpful for me to know that I need to have protein and a whole bunch of greens before I have my sweet potatoes. So that's what I love to help people do, is just to understand, how can we make nutrition work for you with the foods that you like? And it might not be all of the things right away that you like, but just being a part of the process and really participating in what is going to move your health forward. And I have a thought on some of that food that we might think of, well, I was bad today because I ate this. Can I share a little bit about that, Leslie?
That'd be great.
Okay. So in the clients that I coach, many are women. I do have some men, but we have that feeling of, oh, it was so bad today. I ate this bad food. And then we feel bad. And then we wake up the next day and we're like, oh, I'm not going to eat anything. I'm going to be super good today. So we end up on this hamster wheel of telling ourselves good, bad, restrict, binge. We just end up with all of this crazy mental chatter, and we end up feeling like a failure. So on a walk the other day, I thought about this, and rather than good or bad food, could we term it as what do I eat daily versus I'm having a different meal. So every day, these are the foods that I eat. But on Saturday night, because I've walked almost every day this week, I've done some resistance training, and I've eaten the foods that I eat every day. Saturday night, I'm going to go enjoy one meal with some different food. And as long as after you have that different food at that meal, not a whole day, and you notice I'm not using the word cheat day or cheat meal, because then it feels not right. It's just different from your daily. What are you going to be dedicated to the next morning? So 3 Ds. I think Dana has 3 Ds for you. Daily. What do I do daily? What do I choose to have on Saturday, Friday night, or Saturday, or maybe it's brunch? I'm going to choose some different food. But then the rest of the week, I am dedicated. Discipline is the word that I kind of took away because that had a negative connotation in my mind. You might be okay with discipline, and it might be a word that you need to use. But if we change from discipline to dedicated, that makes me feel better. Like I am dedicated to living a healthy life. So that's kind of my 2 cents on how we can start to navigate all of the crazy food choices that are around us. And I want to enjoy food because I really like food without feeling bad.
Yes. let's talk a little bit about maybe someone who's brand new. They just started working with you. What would be maybe a typical day's meal for an average person, I guess?
Sure. And the good old answer is, well, it depends. Where are you at in the stage of what phase are you in? And let's say you were brand new diagnosed with diabetes. What in the heck do you get to eat? You've been told all the things you can't eat or you shouldn't eat. But I like to focus on what are all of the yummy things that you do get to eat. And I think the biggest place people get hung up on is breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were with us a while back, I think we kind of talked about this. Rather than breakfast, where you are breaking your fast, could we just call it the first thing I eat today? And we're so conditioned to have it be something sweet, some bread, toaster strudels, all of the things that commercials have got us thinking is breakfast. What if we just had it be the first meal of the day? Can it be eggs and sausage or bacon? Sure. But could it be a leftover chicken breast and some broccoli with butter? Mm-hmm. It's just another opportunity to eat. So switching our taste buds, it does take a while. It's not like all of a sudden, oh, this chicken breast for breakfast sounds really good. Doesn't happen that way. But if you start to shift your mindset and be okay with, okay, I'm just going to eat this for my first meal, then it's like, oh, okay. And then for my second meal or lunch, whatever you want to call it, maybe you're going to have a leftover burger. Because at supper time, if you're making a mess with your family, I always like you to make enough for the next day. So maybe it's a burger and your favorite cheese and a big, huge salad. Like, how about a burger in a bowl? And you can put whatever you want on it. Mushrooms, onions, peppers. I put pickles on mine. Maybe you want some avocados. That's what it would look like kind of in that first stage. You pick your first meal, protein and a healthy fat. Second meal is leftovers from supper. And then that evening meal, I always encourage protein and veggies. And a lot of times you can just eat until you get full. And I like to have people kind of rate their hunger and fullness. We don't want to get so full that we're like, oh my goodness, we can't move. Just to start to pay attention to your hunger and fullness signals, I think is good, because the processed food that we eat, it kind of just it's like a dimmer switch. It turns off our brain to understand like, hey, you're full and you can be done. The Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop. That's for real. That salt and fat combination that Pringles or any chip has, we just have no turn off mechanism. That's the carb and fat, whether it's ice cream, carb and fat, a Reese's peanut butter cup, pizza, carb and fat together turns off that switch to say, hey, it's okay, we can be done now. So when you start to move into the whole foods, paying attention to that fullness signal will be really a helpful thing to gain awareness with that. And as you transition into the other phases, maybe you can slowly start to test and see, what is your carbohydrate tolerance? And I always say to test with whole food, whether it's adding more berries or small amounts of sweet potatoes. I'm not sure if Dr. Scott, what he says about that in your third phase.
I think once you get to that third phase, really, you're paying attention to what's happening in your body. Okay. So
Perfect.
He's pretty open to you trying some things. I'm not specifically sure on this.
Yep. But just slowly adding those carbs as you tolerate.
I love that we had someone hop on here recently who had shared they were kind of in that phase 3 area and really in tune with their body, really watching to see how different things affected them. And he found that he could drink a little bit of a juice. I can't remember what juice it was, and it was fine. But if he had sugar-free gum, that would skyrocket his blood sugar. And so, yeah, it's just so interesting the way that our bodies work. But what I love about, paying attention, I guess, is you get to see what works well for you
Yeah.
specifically and how you feel. And there's just such a benefit to that, just
Right.
to finally get to that point where, wow, I actually feel good. And I know what foods make
Oh,
me feel good.
right. Right. And I think that's the benefit of, having your resource to guide people. And then to the benefit of one-on-one coaching, to have another human saying, hey, yes, look at all of these things you have going on. This is working for you. Or actually, no, we need to tweak this just a little bit to get you even feeling better than where you are right now.
One of the things, I've known Dana for a while. I've had her as a coach, and we've done this webinar, before too. One of the things that I learned from her was that we actually need a lot more protein than most people are probably consuming. Where are those numbers these days, or what would you say is a good recommendation for people?
So what I've learned from physicians that are in the Dr. Gabrielle Lyon calls it the muscle centric world, anywhere from 0.7 to 1.0 grams of protein per pound of body weight or ideal body weight. So if you weigh 250 pounds and your goal is to get to 200 pounds, then anywhere from what is that, 170 to 200 grams of protein would be your daily target. So 200, that 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight, that's, once you really start getting active and lifting weights. 0.7 is more of the optimal range. Currently, the what's recommended under the dietary guidelines is 0.8 per kilogram. So that's only 0.4, but that's looking at a sick population. And that is only that is the bare minimum that we need. That is not for optimal health. And the more muscle we have, the more our metabolism can be running efficiently. And then eventually the more carbohydrates we can handle. Not that that's necessarily the end goal, but carbohydrates and too many calories in general are what gets us to the diabetes stage in the first place. So once we can start building up that muscle, that's always the goal.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely was under eating protein for a long time. And I still struggle to do that if I don't keep track of it.
Right. And I think that's the big thing too. Like if you're not using a food scale, I would highly recommend jumping on Amazon, grabbing a $10 food scale that can weigh in grams or ounces, and put on that scale 4 to 6 ounces of meat just to see what does it actually take to get to like a serving of protein. They say for women, it's the palm of our hand, or men, you can use the palm of your hand. That would be like a serving. But some of us I've got big hands. Some people have really tiny, petite hands. So I love, love, love a scale to show us. And then just for a really short time, I love it when people are plugging in their numbers into MyFitnessPal. And it doesn't have to be forever, but just so you can see like, oh my goodness, I'm only getting 60 grams of protein per day, when really I should be having at least 120 grams per day. And as we age, our muscles do not respond as well to the protein we're eating. So we actually have to give our bodies more protein to get the effect that we're looking for. They call it muscle protein synthesis. We actually need more protein to tell our muscles to grow. So we can grow our muscles by getting more protein through nutrition, and also lifting soup cans, milk jugs, resistance bands, weights, whatever you have.
What are some of your favorite protein sources?
I think my go-to right now is probably, because I'm craving summer. We've been grilling a lot of burgers. I love batch cooking, like maybe 10 burgers at a time. Sure. And I like to get my fat sources from like blue cheese and avocado in my burger salad. So I tend to buy a leaner meat. A lot of low carb and keto groups will tell you go high fat. Well, that's fine, but then just be mindful of how much extra fat are you adding to that meat. So burgers, chicken breasts. I just bought, Costco had a pork tenderloin for $1.99 a pound. So I cut off and did 4 pork chops and took the rest of the 6 pounds and I browned it on all sides and threw in a bunch of seasonings and made it like pork carnitas. So we're on like day 4 of pork carnitas. So
Nice.
I love to do that. Pork, I don't usually do a whole lot of pork, but right now we're just, we had that tenderloin, so it was a good deal. Steak, I love sirloin steak. It's a little bit lean, and then I can add my fat. Let's see here, pork chicken. Oh, protein shake. Always opt for real food. But there are times when you do not have time for real food, that life happens. Right. So I always like having some type of protein shake available, or I'll put it in yogurt. Greek yogurt is kind of another go-to that I have. So
I just did that the other day.
Yeah.
I mixed the Legion. I have that Legion way.
Yeah.
And I mixed that with just a plain Greek yogurt. It was really good.
What flavor did you have?
Of the protein?
Legion?
Chocolate. Is it Dutch chocolate maybe?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So the Legion Dutch chocolate in plain Greek yogurt, it's like chocolate cheesecake. And you can take a tablespoon or 2, depending on what your needs are. Swirl a little bit of peanut butter in there, almond butter. I put some cinnamon on top. Perfect. I mean, that is such an easy go-to, and you could almost make a meal out of that if you needed to.
Oh, that's so fun. I forgot that I did that the other day. I was trying to get everyone in my family to try it and they wouldn't. Oh, okay. That's awesome. One of the things that I love about Dana is she has all these fun ideas for food. Sometimes it's real easy, I feel like, to get into a food rut. And so if you're following her on social media, it's really fun just to see what she's doing, whether she's showing you how to put something in the air fryer and make it something really simple, or, when I used to get a lot of ideas for bowls. She mentioned the burger bowls, or there's just various things. So if you want to follow her on social media, do that. I think I did post it in the chat. It was on, now I can't even find it, but it's Dana Cushing Health, dana.cushing.health on like Instagram, right?
Yep. And then I was just looking for my, I can't find my Facebook link right now for some reason. My Healthy Body in Facebook is the link. I was hoping to just copy and paste it in the thing, but you can find me on Facebook under Dana Cushing, and I think I have it in my profile, or just
well, and I'll show you here. So you might not be able to see this super well. Actually, let me change this so I can see this. But so then you'll have an idea what it looks like. But it's Healthy, HEALTHE. Yeah, that's probably not super easy to see. Oh, wait, there we go. Right down here in the blue, or in the black, My Healthy
My Healthy. Yep.
So you can find that on Facebook, and you'll see lots of good stuff. And I just appreciate all the food things. And one thing that I want to talk about today too, we celebrate Easter here, and so I know many of you do also, but that's a big holiday coming up. And one of the things that Dana's really good at is teaching us how to deal with food and sweets and sugar and all of that thing for the holidays. And with that one coming up, and you know what, I will tell you, I do have a weakness. My favorite candy is an Easter candy, and it is, I don't know, they're like those chocolate eggs. I don't even know what they're called. Cadbury, I think, actually makes them, but not the normal Cadbury egg. They're like the hard shell one.
In the dark purple bag. I know exactly what
they're just. Yeah,
definitely my favorite. And you're like, I'm just going to have a couple. Well, then that turns into, yes.
I mean, you can make yourself sick on those. So
pretty much.
Be careful. Yep. You got to be careful. Someone said Peeps. I'm going to have to disagree on Peeps. I can't do a Peep, but I know people love them.
I used to, but I just can't anymore.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. So let's say, we're trying to keep our blood sugar under control. We want to do our best. What are some options here? What can we do? We want to enjoy this holiday. What do you recommend?
Mm-hmm. So I think the first thing is to recognize that we're coming up on another candy-filled holiday, but what is the real focus for this holiday? Stop and think about that. And if we can focus on what the real reason is, that we are celebrating
That's good.
he is risen, rather than, oh my gosh, there is sugar, he is risen. And what are we doing to celebrate that he is risen and the family that's going to be around us?
That's good.
So if we have that as the foundation, how can we enjoy the food that's around us? And I think that getting more involved in what's going to be available, we're always going to have obstacles. There's always going to be a holiday, a birthday, anniversary, a vacation, something. There's never a good time to start our plan. So just start today. Don't wait till Monday. Don't wait till Easter is over. But what we can do leading up to Easter, I mean, really, it comes back to protein. And even though you might get sick of hearing protein, if we can just fill up on protein and a salad first, and then if you want to have those mashed potatoes as a side and your blood sugars are going to tolerate that, enjoy a portion of mashed potatoes, maybe some other corn dish that you wouldn't typically have. Small portions, eat your protein and veggies first, because there are studies out there in Glucose Goddess would be another gal to follow. She can show you how if you do the sugar first versus having protein and a non-starchy vegetable like broccoli, cauliflower, a salad, instead of this huge up and down mountain like we talked about before, it's a nice slow rise and slow come back down. So 2 hours after you walk away from or an hour after you walk away from the Easter table, you're digging in your kids' Easter candy or grandkids' Easter candy basket. So I really feel like focusing on that protein and veggie, the non-starchy veggie first, and leading up to that, do your daily things. What are you dedicated to daily that's going to allow you to have some different choices at Easter without having that guilt or shame? Also, water. I don't recommend a whole lot of water right before or with the meal, even though we might have heard that in the past, like drink water so your tummy gets really full. Then we dilute the acid in our tummy, and we need the acid to digest the food that we've just been eating. So I would say make sure you're hydrated. And then the biggest one is sleep, because if we're not sleeping, we just really don't care. We want all the yummy comfort foods. And that's the Cadbury eggs that we're talking about. It's the Peeps, it's the sugar and fat combination that our brains just absolutely, it's kind of a dopamine hit, right? So, but if we have sleep, we're able to make more focused and thoughtful decisions regarding our food. So I would say go into the holiday remembering what we're celebrating, who we're celebrating with. Focus on your protein and veggies, leading up to it with some solid sleep if you can, and making sure you're hydrated. And don't be, I mean, if your doctor says salt is okay, like drinking electrolytes daily, I think is a good thing, helps with cravings. And then even on that day, having some electrolytes might be really helpful. I like the Redmond electrolytes. There's LMNT, Element electrolytes, I've heard are also very good. Heck, even pickle juice. Have a swig of pickle juice before a meal. It will help with digestion, and that's even been shown, like apple cider vinegar, to kind of dim that blood sugar spike.
Awesome. Let's talk about a couple of things here too. Sleep. What are the people recommending these days? How much sleep does someone actually need?
Right. And there are, if you listen to Andrew Huberman, he's been talking a lot about sleep lately. And he says, well, if you say you're getting away with 6 hours of sleep, that's not enough. So I've heard 7 to 8. Some people need up to 9 hours. You just have to decide, you know, what is your optimal space, but that 4 to 6 hour range, from their research, they're saying that's not enough. I can tell you from my personal research on me, I need 7 or 8 hours of sleep for sure. If I don't have that, I am hungry and I just want anything sweet. So I would highly encourage 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And many of my clients that are in that 55 to 70 range, 75, many are retired. They're napping during the day, and that's throwing off their sleep. Sometimes a nap can be helpful, but that falling asleep in the chair midday or right before you go to bed can really impact your sleep. So if you can, try to go to bed earlier and then hopefully sleep through the night and wake up at, whatever time works for you. But that napping can throw things off a little bit. And caffeine. Stopping caffeine by noon. A lot of people need to do that. Even though you might feel like coffee doesn't affect you, studies will say otherwise, that caffeine is it's best to stop it by noon, 2 o'clock at the latest.
Yeah, it is really amazing, all of the different things that affect the way that we eat, from sleep to stress. We talk a lot about stress on our webinars and how that impacts things. One of the things that we get a lot of questions about is alcohol. And how do you think that affects a person?
I think it's a vicious cycle. I think there can be a time and a place for alcohol. But the nightly glass of wine that people will use to wind down, or the beer after work, I think that's really significantly impacting our circadian rhythm. We cannot get into that deep REM sleep. And so we have the wine at night to wind down, but then we can barely get out of bed in the morning. So we're doing caffeine. It's like a caffeine alcohol cycle that we end up on. And not that I'm saying all alcohol is bad, but I think sometimes we need to do a little bit of a self-check. And how much are we having a glass of wine or a beer, or how often? And, if it's out to eat and you want to enjoy a glass and that works for you, I think that's fine. But it's the nightly consumption is where we could get into trouble.
All right. Good stuff here. I want to see if we have any questions here that we can do. We have people on Facebook as well. I love that Susan says she can't do any of it. Meaning like those Cadbury eggs or Peeps, because once she has a taste of it, she won't stop until it's all gone. And I can relate to that. I do understand.
One of my clients would say, one bite is too many, but 100 is not enough. Right?
Hilarious.
I think we've all felt that for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, not that one. Okay. John said fasting and back to stage 1. So I don't know, John, if you're saying that you are now fasting or you're saying that's what your game plan is for after Easter, after a holiday, you fast, and maybe that works for you. It's good to find out what works for you. Dr. Saunders talks a lot about fasting. Okay. I got to go back up here to all of my notes. We got a lot of people on. Butch, how are you? Let's see. Dario, I have 2 questions. The best time to take fiber greens, before or after breakfast? Honestly, we have people that take it at all different times. So you choose what works best for you. Eric, first time here. First time seeing Dana. Yes, Eric, it would be. I was going to say, you're not new, Eric. Well, yes. Okay. Alva, first timer. And you have type 2. Well, welcome. We're so excited that you're here. I'm going to, a couple things again, bartonwebinar.com is where you'll find information about these webinars. There's also a link to our YouTube channel, and you will find all 184 episodes that we have done. Plus you will find a link to all of Dana's episodes that she has done in the past. So you can check those out there. Also, if you want to get in touch with her, let's quick do that one more time. You can find her on social media, dana.cushing.health. You can find her on Facebook, and that is, I have that one up. I should have typed that one in here too.
Did I? I wonder if that worked. Oh yeah, it did. You can join the group, the My Healthy Body group. I put that in the webinar chat.
Okay, awesome.
If you want to do that, or we've got danacushinghealth.com.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me quick post that here for everyone. Here's the link for that, you guys.
There was a question, is there a supplement that will help reduce belly fat? I'd be curious, Jeffrey, what is your diet and exercise? What does that currently look like? Because I haven't found a supplement yet that works. It's once you get that insulin resistance under control with nutrition and some movement, lifestyle change, and that sleep, stress, that belly fat does go down as well as fatty liver if you're dealing with anything like that. So yes, I do have a family. I have 3 kids and a husband and 2 dogs. That's why healthy, like my healthy ends in an E, because I have Emily, Ethan, and Ella.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. I didn't know why that was like that.
Yes. Cool. And in my program, my 6-month coaching program, we do educate, empower, evolve, 3 phases, and then my 3 E's. So
that's awesome.
There's healthy. Yeah, healthy.
Very cool. Well, guys, be sure to check that out. That link is posted there on Facebook so that you can check her group out, and just so much good information there that I think you guys would really benefit from. I'm just going to cover this. I would think that Dana will say the same thing, but this question had come in. It says, please, I just received my diabetes solution kit and it has a few different supplements in it. I don't know where to start. I'm using all of these supplements, etc. And I feel pretty confident in saying that both Dr. Saunders and Dana will both tell you it is not the supplements that are going to change things, guys. It is the food. It has to be the food. And so whether you decide, you're going to follow Dana and you want to reach out to her for coaching to get help with your food, that's the most important part. The same thing in the diabetes solution kit. You've got to follow phase 1. And it is, we talked about the word discipline. You may have to have some discipline to do that, or some dedication, or figuring out your why you're doing this. But that's where it is. There is no magical pill. And Dr. Saunders would tell you to throw the pills away and focus on your food. So, but you can do it. There are so many people who have done it. And once you start, you may get addicted. You may love it. So you'll feel good, right?
Right. And I can't encourage people enough in here. Get into the Barton group on Facebook. I mean, that's where your support is. That's where your people are. You can come into my group too, but I mean, their team is here. They want you to do better and they want to support you, and start to ask each other questions. If there's a team member from Barton that's not immediately available, reach out to other people, connect with people that are in the same boat as you are, and it will make you feel so much better. You don't have to be stranded alone. They're here for you. I'm here for you. So just really take advantage of the resources around you and make connections, because it can really be life-changing to connect with somebody who is in the same boat as you are.
I'm going to share the link to that Facebook group. It says 610 Reset. That was the old name, but yeah. Same thing. It is in there.
Perfect.
All right. I'm going to look through some more of these questions here. Peeps, so funny. I saw somebody was doing like a melted dip with Peeps, and I was like, oh, I'd be falling asleep after Easter if I even tried that.
Right.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I got all those links posted there. Anything else, guys? Some of the medical stuff I probably won't be able to answer. Eric said we did the detox black tea and cinnamon whenever we want. I make chicken broth, homemade. The 610 reset, my insulin resistance is still high. When I eat my fibers, my diabetes is still going up. I'm back to phase 1. What do you think, Leslie? What would Dr. Saunders say about it? Yeah, definitely. He would say phase 1, but also remember, sometimes it is good to do some testing to see what's going on. And Eric, I think I have your email address, but if you email me, I'll send you that list of testing that he recommends also. And, kind of the stuff even that we mentioned earlier, the sleep, the stress, those things impact you as well. So it's good to just almost sit down and do an overall assessment. Like, where am I at? Where am I at right now? What things are impacting what's happening?
Right.
Yeah, that'd be something really good to reach out to Dana. And she can help you with those kind of things too.
And I was just looking to why sell the vitamins if they have little to do with health. I don't believe that's what Leslie was saying with the, it's all about the food. It's not that the vitamins don't have anything to do. It's just not going to be the magic bullet.
Yeah.
Changing your nutrition is going to be the foundation, and adding the supplements is going to likely speed up the process. But
Yes.
You have to start the process with your food choices, and then the supplements are going to help you along the way.
Yes. We get a lot of people that say, can I take Synachroma and will it replace my metformin? And the answer is no, it won't. But the diet, I mean, you can't quite say this, but I would say if you want to replace your metformin, start with the diet, and or whatever your food plan is. And Dr. Saunders will tell us, he checks a lot of people in his office and they'll be deficient in vitamin D and selenium and chromium. And so, for example, that's why he formulated Synachroma, because everyone was deficient in it. And those things help. Those are really important things that help us. And even, everyone, I've mentioned this before, but a lot of people on our team were taking all of those supplements individually, even though we didn't have type 2. And so when they formulated Synachroma, it was like, this is amazing. I don't have to buy all of these different ones to get the stuff that we need to stay healthy. We're not getting enough vitamin D. I mean, it's hard to get enough vitamin D. And same with selenium and chromium. In fact, if you guys go to bartonwebinar.com, you'll find the link to the YouTube channel, and you can see where we go in depth into these supplements, why they were created, what the benefit is, etc. But there is nothing that will replace the food, the diabetes solution kit, or whatever kind of food plan that you choose. You know what? Something I thought of, I was going to ask you too. Do you have very many vegan clients? And what do you recommend for them to get protein?
Actually, I had a gal that started with me. She was transitioning out of vegan and vegetarian, but that is definitely not my wheelhouse.
Okay.
I just can't get enough protein. Like, I am not qualified to get you enough protein.
Yep.
And food combining to get you all of your essential amino acids. With my knowledge base, I know there's a really good resource, Dr. Casey Means. She's Levels. So she does the CGM with the company Levels with Dr. Ben Binkman. And she is vegan, I believe, or vegetarian, and she can make it. But I just struggle with it because it takes a pretty hefty grocery budget to create these complete proteins, and managing enough protein while keeping those carbs low, just because the plant-based protein carbs tend to come so high. It can be done for sure, but it takes a very well thought out and professionally guided, I feel, plan to be able to do the higher protein in a vegan with a vegan lifestyle. So it, like I said, it does. Dr. Casey Means it works for her. Her salads look glorious, but it's the time, energy, and resources that it takes to get there.
Okay.
You just have to be mindful of that.
Okay. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Judy says, I'm not seeing what you just posted. We were just posting the social media links if you want to get in touch with Dana, or if you go to Facebook, you can go to Barton Webinar. That'll take you to that group on Facebook. And then Dana's information is what we posted. That is the My Healthy Body Facebook group, or Dana.Cushing. Did I say that? Dana.Cushing.health? Yep. On Instagram. So that's what we were posting the links for.
Do you mind if I can sneak my website in here too?
Yeah, that'd be great. And actually, I can probably do this on this. Okay. Someone said my first.
That didn't actually link. Dana Cushing Health. Oh, how about not add Gmail?
Oh, funny. Let's see. What did I just see? Someone had said, my first time today, just wish I'd found your webinar earlier. We'll set the alarm for next week. Awesome. And you know what? A reminder will go out as well. So looks like you're registered on Zoom, so you will get reminded. Thanks, Dana. Some useful info to go along with the diabetes solution kit. I've always been a protein person. Without it, I don't do well. From Fred.
Awesome, Fred.
Yay. Okay. Lean apple cider vinegar. That's another one you can kind of see what works best for you, but I think it says on the bottle. Hold on. All right. Here's our lean apple cider vinegar product. Let's see. Actually, I can send you a link. If you, I'll just show you guys this too, because we just finished these videos. So if you go to Barton Nutrition, if you ever have a question about any of our supplements, if you go to Barton Nutrition, apparently I can't spell it. There we go. You will find a video for all of these supplements where Dr. Saunders is talking about what it's for, and some of it talks about how to take it. So store.Barton Nutrition is probably the best way to do this. So I'll post a link to that. You guys can check those out, those videos, and post that in the chat also. Okay. Is it okay to drink fiber green in the morning and also at night? Yeah, you know what, Dario, I did say that's another one that you can kind of decide when works best for you. We have people that do both. Some people only do it in the morning, sometimes morning. Yeah, it just depends on what you prefer and how you feel. I only do it once a day. But that'd be another thing. Click that Barton Nutrition link and you'll get more information. Okay. All right, you guys. This was so fun. Dana, thank you so much for coming back. It's been a while.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was so nice to see you again.
Yes, awesome. Okay, well, who knows, guys, maybe we'll try to bring her back a few more times. I love it. Okay, you take care. Thank you so much. And all of you, we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.